Well, that's strange. The Z06 is parked outside. That can only mean one thing. We have another subscriber ride today getting some mods at the Horsepower Obsessed garage. Now, this will be our 11th Z06. Yeah, we've done a lot of these cars, guys, and this is something that is offered to you as well for much less than what you'll pay at a dealership and way more experience than you'll get at a dealership. We can lower your car, we can put the Venturi intake on, we can do exhaust stuff, intake stuff, throttle body stuff, and some appearance mods. And even some brake stuff, which is what we're going to be doing today. So we are going to see the Z06 soon. We're going to be lowering it, we're going to be putting on new brake pads, we're going to be putting on a Z07 type splitter on the front, and we're going to be doing some wheel spacers. So I'm going to kind of show some of the process, but I just want you guys to know this is available to you. If you would like to come here to Pennsylvania, I live right outside of Pittsburgh. You can come here, get your work done, and have it done in a much better way than you would get at the dealership, and it's cheaper. Anyway, let's take a look at the Z06. And here is the car. This is a 2026. Looks like 3LZ interior. Obviously has the front end lift because we're going to be doing lowering collars on this. Oh, asymmetric interior. I just now noticed that. I saw the asymmetric stripes, but asymmetric interior too. That's pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, this is what the ride height looks like. It's going to definitely look different here very soon. So that with wheel spacers. We're going to be doing a new front splitter because the one that's on here now is just kind of like the finishing piece. But he has a part from EOS. It's going to give that the Z07 kind of splitter. Then we're going to do wheel spacers, like I said, brake pads to eliminate some of this dust, because if you don't have carbon ceramic rotors, that's the kind of stuff you can expect unless you get a brake pad that dusts less. And he has that, so we're going to go ahead and throw those in there as well. All right, and here is a better shot of the car from the side, showing you what it looks like before we lower it. Of course, you guys have seen the process a good bit. We're going to take those front struts out, put the collar on, and then the rear ones can be cranked down on the stock coilovers. Then the splitter will be changed. Wheels will be pushed out with spacers, like I said. We'll show some of it, but for the most part, you've seen a lot of this already. So more of a before and after kind of thing. Like I said, if you want anything like this done on your car, you can come out and get it done here. So first things first, as with any install, we're going to disconnect the battery, but we got to remove some of the frunk trim to do so. And then 10 millimeter to disconnect the battery. And then pro tip, guys, if you're going to lift the car and take the wheels off, crack the lug nuts before you lift it, or else you'll be pressing the brake pedal in there. Then we got to come in here, remove the top 3 13 millimeter nuts for the struts, because we do have to take these out because they are, it's a front end lift car, so we got to put the collar in. It's not just coilovers in the front, only in the rear on these cars. So once we take these off, we'll crack the big bolts down underneath loose, and then take that whole strut assembly out and start putting the collars in. And there is also the magnetic ride control wire right there. We got to separate, and then that whole strut assembly can come out. Close up in front of the camera. One last thing, the big bolt at the bottom is a 21 millimeter. You'll need a deep socket on one side and a shallow socket on the other. And the banjo bolt for the front lift is an 11 millimeter. And coming inside here, that is the 11 millimeter banjo bolt for the front lift and the electrical connection. We'll go ahead and get those both out, and then this strut is ready to be pulled. And he's going over to take out the bottom bolt on the other side as well. We'll work on both struts at the same time. All right, so here's strut number 1, driver's side. We're going to start working on it currently to get that collar on, and then we'll put it back in. All right, so sitting down with the strut, first thing I like to do is mark everything. So we put it all back into the exact same location. Now, I don't know exactly how important this is for the Z06. I know it is more important for the Stingray, but better safe than sorry. So next we got to remove this plastic covering, which is going to basically hold in this little bit of wire loom. Just a small screwdriver will allow you to kind of pry it apart, just like that. And then once we pull that off, we can then see white and black wires. Again, I'm going to mark the side that has a black wire with just a line so I know where the black wire goes. Again, not sure if this matters, but better safe than sorry. Next, we're going to go ahead and depin these. So these wires have to come out of this casing so we can take the whole strut apart. There's basically no way for me to show you this on camera. You're going to have to just fumble with it until you get it.
Awesome.
And just like that, it's depinned. I might make that look easier than it really is. I've done a couple of these. Then there's a little dust boot cap thing at the top here where that has to come off as well. And then lastly, we got to take the nut off. Now, if you're doing this on a Z06 like this one, you don't need any kind of spring compressors. Because of this helper spring, it's not really under very much tension. But if it's a Stingray, you'll want to compress this spring before you take that apart. This is the socket we're going to use, of course, to go ahead and break that loose. So a lot of times I've noticed once you break that loose with a bigger impact, the whole thing wants to spin. If you get a smaller impact and put it on a real low power, a lot of times you can just kind of walk that out without the whole thing spinning. So, just like this. It's slow, but it will come out. Just like that. Now we'll just kind of disassemble everything. That's your bump stop. And then this is obviously your front lift. What we need to do is use that as kind of like a hammer to pop this cap off. Once that cap's off, we can then take off the entire front lift module. And this is the collar ultimately. So this little silver thing is what we're replacing. You can see this gives it a much lower drop. So it'll sit like that.
You know something you don't have a video? You should be doing this side of it. Okay.
So after we get the collar on, we'll just go ahead and reassemble all this, and then we're ready to put it back in the car. Reassembly, of course, the opposite of disassembly. So we got the wheels off. We're going to go ahead and put on some spacers, 20 millimeter in the rear, to kind of push those wheels out so the lowering looks even better. Pretty easy install here, guys. You just slide it on there and bolt it down. So these will be bolted down to 140 foot-pounds, and then the wheel will be bolted down to 140 again. So here we got Dana. He's doing the lowering of the rear, which of course is just a coilover system, but tell us what you do back here, Dana.
So back here, you got some tape on here. They put some tape on the factory so that this doesn't spin or come off. After I remove that, I'll lower this plastic collar cover. See how it spins here? I'll drop it down here, and then at this point, I'll break these two free, and I'll lower this down to a certain point, leaving a few threads, and then this one I turn at one crank at a time, a quarter turn at a time. Basically, it's very painful, tedious and painful, but yeah, we get that down there and then we tighten them back up. I put this cover back on and it's tight anyways, so I don't know why they put that tape on there in the factory, but they overkill stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that.
Yep. All right, so front driver's side strut is done. We're going to go ahead and insert it back in, and it's a lot easier on the Z06s because you can twist and turn. But I will grab the wire from the top here as Dana is putting the strut cap bolts back in, just like that. So then he'll tighten it up with the 20, was it 21?
Yeah, when I get it in there in a second.
Yep.
I need that big.
He'll tighten it up with the 21s and then we're good to go. All right, so next step is to get the Carbotech brake pads in. So if you're interested in doing this on your car, these are the part numbers right here. These are actually pretty easy to swap out with the performance caliper here. You got to knock this pin out, and then take this bolt out, which looks like probably an 11 or 12 back here. I'll let you know in a second. But ultimately, once you knock these two pins out, take that bolt out, this bracket's going to come off, and then we can just wiggle those pads out. It is a 13. This bolt is now out of the back. We'll be able to pull that out once we punch these two pins out. Now we'll take this center bolt out that we loosened earlier, and then the pads can come out right from the back. And you can see those things are massive, but also very dusty. Since these brake pads don't come with any, I'm going to throw some copper brake lube on there too, so there's no squealing from these things. This is the same stuff GM uses on the factory pads on just the sides. You don't want to go crazy with this stuff, but it's definitely good to have a little bit on there. So this is the new brake pad. We're going to put the brake anti-squeal stuff just on this surface right here. That's it. Just like that, and then we'll smear it in. Just like that. Nice thin layer, and then it is ready to go. Once you have the pads in, we'll go ahead and put this center bolt through, and then we'll put the bracket on and start pushing these pins through. These pins will basically hold that bracket in place. And then the top one will hold that down. Then we'll just tighten down the 13mm bolt back there, and we're done with the fronts. The back ones are a little bit easier because there's no bolt in the middle, but ultimately you still have these two pins that we need to knock out. Then there's a bracket holding everything down, and then we'll just put a little bit of brake lube on them and put them back in, just like the fronts. So we gotta knock the pins out first. These are the stock ones. And actually you can see on the stock ones it still has a little bit of the brake anti-squeal there. It's the same copper stuff we're using on the new ones. Interestingly, they're not on the, there's no included grease on the new pads. Okay, we got them in, and then we'll go ahead with the bracket and start putting the pins in through the rear. That's it. That's front and rear pads done. And next we got Dana working on the splitter up underneath. So we got to remove a good bit of the panels to really get access to the bolts that are necessary to remove to replace the splitter here. So this is kind of the finishing piece, like I said, in carbon flash. He has another one that's more Z07 in carbon flash as well. That will go on there in its place in a second. There's basically a lot of bolts you got to remove at the bottom, take off those panels, and then a bunch of 7mm bolts that are up through the inside that you have to access from the back. New splitter is getting put together right now. Dana is torquing down the screws to hold the pieces together, but you can see it's carbon flash. And this is what the Z06 looks like with no finishing piece on the front bumper. Yeah. So once that splitter is put together, we go back up underneath it with the same 7mm screws that we took out the stock piece with, put it back in. All right, so believe it or not, that went pretty much right on. I mean, it slipped into place, we should say. Dana's gonna put all the screws in now, but you can see the difference with that already. Much more fitting of the asymmetric car. So once he tightens all that up, we're going to throw the wheels on and then we'll do the final reveal. So like I said earlier, guys, this is the asymmetric car. So red driver's seat, black passenger side seat, all black over there on the door panel. There should be some red in here. Yep, right there, a little bit of red. And then of course the asymmetric stripes up on the top. Everything's carbon flash, so went with the carbon flash Z07 style splitter, which fits with everything else. So yeah, looks good. Much better. That rear will drop a little bit more once the brake comes off. Yeah, that's how this car's meant to sit like this. Got to torque down the lug nuts and then we are ready to go. Look at that stance now, guys. That's how that car's supposed to come. Carbon flash front splitter. Looks great. Let's see it outside. Alright guys, so that's the difference right there. Brake pads, wheel spacers, lowering and front splitter. Look at how much better that looks with that rear wheel spacer in there. Everything is spaced pretty much where it should be. I have him putting the front lift up and down. We got to do that about 10 times just to work the air out. While he's doing that, we're going to look over everything with that new Z07 style splitter on the asymmetric car. Really a good look. Really, really nice. So, again guys, you can have this same kind of service done if you'd like to come to me. We do it right here in the, right outside of Pittsburgh. So, this is a subscriber of mine and this is a service we offer, Dana and I. Basically, we'll get it done for you cheaper than a dealer, and we also take a lot more care of your car than the dealer would. So check it out. Send me an email, horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com if you want to get yours done, and we will hook you up. Anyway guys, that's going to pretty much do it for the video. So again, if you liked it, smash the thumbs up button, shoot me an email if you're interested, subscribe if you haven't yet, and as always, stay obsessed.